Yo, what is going, guys? It's jmoneyhs back again with another video, and today, my recording software did a little bit of an oopsie, so, yeah, I got rid of the microphone option in the settings and everything, so don't worry, it's all good now, but while recording this video, it didn't pick up my microphone audio, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of a post-commentary. So what we are doing for this is Insanity Warlock with the Tidepool Pupil inclusion. Yeah, this card is making this deck absolutely broken. And this is a Death Knight variation with Summoner Dark Marrow, so that way you have access to cards like Slippery Slope as well as the Handler, the 2-mana 2/2 with Death Rattle and everything that summons a 1/1 with Reborn. But yeah, this deck is really good if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, anyways, be sure to like and subscribe so that way you don't miss out on any Hearthstone videos. Sorry for about this video and everything. Did kind of that's my bad on not having the audio be picked up. But anyways, yeah, once again, be sure to like, subscribe, so that way you don't miss out on any Hearthstone videos. So game one was against a Zari Priest, and I kind of mulliganed for like a mid-range kind of option, just in case of like, in case if it was either Zari Priest or in case if it was Raino Priest. If it was Raino Priest, I wanted to be on. I wanted to play it on the safe side. You know, I felt like if we were going against not Zari Priest, but if we were going up against Raino Priest, I felt like we were going to win that no matter what. Zari Priest, I wanted to be on the safe side, you know, just so that way I didn't, you know, die immediately from the Zari combo. So we were doing pretty good about taking care of everything on the board up until his turn. Up until my opponent's turn 5, where he was able to get out a bunch of different minions. He was able to get the Kyurgen from the weapon that he got, and then he just started playing Ziliaxes and attacking my face, which really doesn't work out well against our deck, because our deck, you know, we want to stay alive, so that way we can, you know, that way we can destroy our opponent's stuff in one combo. But yeah, we were able to soul freeze, so that way we stayed alive for a little bit. So we were able to stabilize for that turn. But on the very next turn, he was able to get back to doing his little shenanigans with Ziliax buffing the entire board. But fortunately for us, we did have a pretty good domino effect in our hand. So we definitely we were able to like utilize that, so that way we didn't die next turn. Only for him to, on the very next turn, do the very same thing with Magatha going into a bunch of 1-drops into Thirsty Drifter. So we had to do a little bit of defense once again. So I utilized the Photographer Fizzle as well as Popgar with Crescendo to try and clear the board as much as I could. So that way, not only did I get a bunch of lifesteal, but you know, that way I have a good amount of his minions dead on board, so that way hopefully he didn't kill me with Zari next turn. He then proceeded to kill me with Zari on that very next turn. Yeah, he was able to kill me with in that one turn. Well, technically the 2 turns, but yeah, he was able to utilize that. He was able to utilize everything, as well as Vol'jin to swap his own minion stats. Big brain on my opponent's part, if I'm being honest. But you know that it's an L, but that's fine. But because we had to play defense, we were on the back foot a lot of the time. Game 2 was another one of those games where I was on the back foot most of the time, but it was incredibly interesting. So we start out the typical play pattern and everything. Hunter has the 2/1/1s with stealth on turn 1, and then I play fracking on turn 1. So, you know, standard plays. You know, Hunter plays a secret. things get a little interesting on turn 3 when he plays All You Can Eat. So I think in my little head that this is Raino Hunter. I thought this was Raino Hunter. Little did I know that I was in for the game of my life. I was in for a treat. He played Adaptive Amalgam into the Bronze Gatekeeper. So yeah, this is Amalgam Hunter, where he tries to buff up the Adaptive Amalgam a bunch and summon it back out with the one attack weapon that summons a 1-cost minion from the deck. I did not even know that was a thing. I wasn't ready for turn 5 either, as he decided to buff up the Amalgam even more and then give it Wind Fury. So yeah, safe to say, I was in a little bit of a pickle. That's putting it lightly. Thankfully, I was able to top deck another Soul Freeze, so that way I could survive for another turn. But yeah, this was very quickly getting out of hand. My opponent again buffs the Amalgam with a camouflage mount and a bunch of bananas on there. So you see me, I'm thinking I'm dead next turn. I'm thinking there is no way I am surviving. And then I top deck Slippery Slope to keep myself in the game for yet another turn. So I use that as well as the Craze Conductor to summon a bunch of minions to hopefully trade into the Amalgam next turn. I finally take it out no problem on turn 7, but he has the weapon that summons even more of the Amalgam. So you know I'm in a really big pickle in these next couple of turns. He then proceeds to get the Amalgam back out onto the field the very next turn. But this is when I had an idea. I thought that I pretty much had lethal. I thought I needed like I thought I had enough mana to go not Tide Pool people, but Void Virtuoso, Encroaching Insanity, and then Trog Gem Tosser. But that did not go well because I didn't have enough for the finale. So I end up tapping and I top deck Crescendo for Lethal. I did not expect to have the Crescendo for Lethal, but you know what? It worked. I have no words. It was honestly, I am kind of mad that the live recording is gone. Well, not live recording is gone, but the live voice work is gone because I wasn't able to give you the reaction I had. Game 3, not a lot happened, if I'm being completely honest. We were taking on a Spell Mage. So on turn 2, I dropped the Baritone Imp because it buffs up the Crescendos for later, as well as the Craze Conductors, which works out really well. The following turn, I then drop an Encroaching Insanity, not only because Tide Pool Pupil is in my hand, but also it, once again, buffs up my Crescendos and Crazed Conductors for not a lot of damage on my part. So, on my turn 4, I decided to go Void Virtuoso and Encroaching Insanity because I want to, like, aggro down my opponent as well as me having the Tide Pool Pupil in my hand. So, I think I can just go ahead and have the Encroaching Insanity come out a couple of turns and, you know, kill my opponent in the next couple of turns. I kind of messed up in doing this because this started to allow my opponent to start making a little bit of a comeback. But fortunately for us, we were able to get out Craze Conductor on the very next turn to battle the board. My opponent on the following turn had a crazy pop-off, though, to deal with this. He got Elemental Companion into the Spell Damage Companion, and then was able to play 2 Malfunctions to basically wipe out most of my board and then trade to get rid of the rest. My turn, I decided to utilize a couple of frackings to thin through the rest of my deck, and on the second fracking, I was able to pick up a Crescendo that'll come into play later. The next couple of turns, me and my opponent didn't really do a lot. We were able to like sift through our decks, but not really a whole lot else, if I'm being completely honest. I'm surprised that my opponent didn't have anything this turn with the manufacturing error, but, you know, everything turned out well there. I then take care of the board next turn and also get an encroaching insanity as well. But I mainly take care of the board with the rush minion and then freeze the spell damage minion, so that way, hopefully I didn't die in the next turn. My opponent on the next turn dropped a... But I was able to utilize Eat the Imp to destroy my 1/1 and get the Fellstring Harp that I needed to help get me the lethal with Encroaching Insanity into Crescendo for game. I didn't really... I thought I was dead on that previous turn before he dropped the Tsunami, but once I saw that Tsunami, I was like, unless he has something that costs 0 mana, I am perfectly fine, which I was. The next notable game was against a Reno Druid. So the first couple of turns weren't really... nothing really happened of note. Yeah, it was just a pretty typical standard first couple of turns against Druid. They coin out the Splish Splash Whelp. We take care of it with the Handler. And we go ahead and put out the Fellstring Harp, so that way we can get out the Craze Conductor on the following turn. The next turn, he drops a Mista Vista just on the board, you know, for raw value. And then on our turn, we go ahead and drop the Encroaching Insanity. And, you know, we go ahead and buff up our crescendos even more. He ramps up a whole hell of a lot on turn 6 with New Heights into the Malfurion's Gift for Wild Growth, and trades into the Craze Conductor, not Mista Vista. He has the Mista Vista. We clean up the Mista Vista on the following turn, and then on his next turn, he goes Sleep Under the Stars for 15 armor. Which, for some reason, he also runs Witchwood Apple in his list. I think it's probably just for some, like, early game or something, but I don't know. I just thought it was very weird. We then go ahead and drop Encroaching Insanity as well as the Baritone Imp, so that way we can have a big, meaty boy with the Baritone Imp. And, yeah, we are looking very, very good with this next turn. His Mista Vista stuff goes off on the next turn, and fortunately for us, his Sleep Under the Stars goes off before any of the New Heights or Wild Growth nonsense that he did the first couple of turns after. He then follows it up with Wild Growth into Rheastraza, and that is when I know that I had him with... we go ahead, bring our attacks upstairs, and then we go ahead, drop the Void with the double Crescendo for the lethal for the game. Easy game against the Reno Druid there. Yeah, no words there. I now have saved the best for last, not only because it's chronologically last, but also because this was the weirdest game by far. You think you know what kind of warrior this is? Well, be prepared to have all those dreams dashed whenever my opponent coins out a Plated Beetle on turn 1 in the year 2024. And on the following turn, follows it up with Fiery War Axe like it's 2013 again. We then hit him with a Encroaching Insanity to try and play out a Craze Conductor for the next turn. My opponent then follows up his Blast from the Past antics with a Tar Creeper, and yeah, this is by far the weirdest game. I told you, I saved the best for last. I was not kidding. On the following turn, after my opponent cleared the board with a Blade Storm, I decided to go with Fellstring Harp into Encroaching Insanity to give myself a little bit of health and also bump up even more of the fatigue stuff. A couple of turns later, down the road, we are finally able to get Craze Conductor out of our hand and onto the board with getting a little bit of healing towards us, thanks to the Fellstring Harp. My opponent then plays Grommash Hellscream and gets me really low down in the dumps with 3 health going into my turn 9. But thankfully, on the next turn, we are able to finally utilize the domino effect we have in our hand to get rid of most of the board, and we trade away the Grommash Hellscream, and we freeze his face to hopefully not die to a Fiery War Axe. And then on turn 9, the final cherry on top was my opponent playing Primordial Drake. Yeah, this wasn't even a Raino list with where he ran 2 executes and everything. So yeah, we finished off our opponent very honorably, in my opinion, with our Popgar Crescendo and double barrels of sludge. And yeah, that was the last bit of games there. If this video has taught you anything, it's that Tide Pool Pupil needs to be nerfed into the ground and taken out back and hit with an old yeller, because this is absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, hope you guys did enjoy. Sorry that again you didn't have. I had to do the post commentary, but I hope that you do enjoy this at the very least. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have gotten to this point, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so that way, once again, you don't miss out on any Hearthstone videos. And yeah, with that being said, I will catch you all in the next video. Take it easy.